Hi everybody, welcome into the Crafters Outpost classroom and studio. Hope you enjoy. Today's class is going to be how to make journals out of any size envelopes. Hi everybody, this is Christine from the Crafters Outpost, and today I am going to be showing you how to create this beautiful faith junk journal. And it's not going to be this chunky. Well, it might be afterwards, but I'm not going to use, I did 10 envelopes on this one. It ended up being a little too chunky, so I'm going to knock it down to only 3 envelopes. And so you can actually use any size envelopes you want. Okay, so the envelopes I'm going to use today are going to measure 9 by 6. Okay, that's our measurements for these. Both of them are the same, so you can use whatever measure you want, whatever size envelope you want. You just have to measure correctly for the rest of the parts in the book. Okay, the point is you can use any size envelope that you want. It's all up to you. The process is the same of making them no matter what size they are. So let's get started. Okay, so here's my 3 envelopes. And what I'm going to do is I want to create, and I'll show you the one that I've got going here. I haven't binded the papers in yet, but I wanted to be able to add more papers to this one instead of just making them all envelopes. But I always cut this off so I can put a pocket here to use for either ephemera, or I like to do writing boards. So it's really up to you. But what I usually do is I take this lip of this envelope here, make sure it's lined up with the little lines there on both ends, and we just cut that off. Okay, so that's going to be your pocket, your back, the back of your envelope, the very back of the book is where I wanted it. So that's going to be this part. Okay, so once that's taken off, we're going to take our other 2 envelopes, and what I like to do is just glue these down. Now you can just put them inside like that and glue them. I just like to glue them down in the front. Okay, so this is the glue that I use. I really love this glue. It really holds and keeps things down, even in humidity or anything else. So when you're making junk journals for other people especially, you want to make sure things are not going to fall apart. So I love this glue. Now you can use whatever glue you want, but that's just my preference. So you just take this flat part, and I usually go right into the edge here and just go around the top, and then I'll go inside here. And then I put a little around because I really want it to stay down. And then just rub it out real good. Make sure you get all the corners, all the edges. Although, again, you know, it's people's preference, but I'm probably going to be designing these pages anyway, so you won't see it. But I still like for things to be glued down and stay that way, even if I'm doing over top, because if this pulls up, then your other page will pull up. And this is just stuff that I have found over the years of making these journals. You just want to make sure that that's down really good. And I've already glued my other one together. So now what we have is these 3 pages, or 3 envelopes, I should say. And this is your back cover. Okay, so now what I use to bind my pages with are these strips here. And I use a pretty thick cardstock paper, and you can use any color you want. But I really do like this brown, especially for vintage or whatever. If you don't want to decorate, you can always just use this cover as part of your decoration. If you're not doing vintage, it's no big deal. I did cut out some white ones, or white one and these brown ones, and so we're going to do that next. Okay, so I got my scoreboard, and we are going to I've already scored this one, I think, yeah. Okay, so with this measurement of 2 1/4, you want to make sure both sides are pretty even, okay? So with this measurement, this is going to be the spine, okay? That's where I'm going to sew in my signatures. So with this measurement, you're going to score 1 inch, okay? It's going to be 1 inch. And then 1 1/4, okay? So you just score down the line like that. And then you have a spine right here. So what we're going to do is you want to make sure that, especially if you're using really thick cardstock, so you just want to take your bone folder or whatever you got and just really put that down and score. Smooth it out, okay? It's just going to make it easier to go over your book. So wherever your lines are, you want to smooth it out, because this is pretty thick cardstock, and that's what I wanted, because I want it to be able to hold my book. You know, paper's not the idea thing. You want something sturdy. Okay, so that's going to be, it's going to attach to this, my envelope that I already sealed back here. We are going to attach it to the bottom part, and you can always remember, here's your tongue of your envelope, okay? And so that's how I usually remember. And we're just going to glue that. Make sure I got that scored pretty good there. And guys, even in the, you know, the bigger picture, if this is not perfect, as you can see, I've already done this one. And I'm going to end up putting something even over top of this, so you won't see that. Once I sew in my signatures, which there's 2 in here, so I'm going to be sewing pages into this side and 3 holes into this side. And then I will do another one of these of some sort, or I'll use material or whatever, and you can cover that up, okay? So this doesn't have to be a perfect, if you mess it up, it's all good. You can't really mess paper up. You just have to maneuver it to make it, to change things up to make it better. And so I just always try to make sure I get my edges here, like that. And so we're going to put some glue on it. And I always, always, always make sure you have your edges, because that is a pet peeve of mine. I really hate it when my edges didn't get enough glue and then it's barely sticking up and you can't get your glue to go up under there to finish gluing it. Although, like I said before, I'm going to be putting, I'm just a perfectionist, so that's just me, but I'm also going to be covering this up at the end, so it doesn't matter. But I still want my edges to be glued down, okay? So I turn it usually this way so I can gauge what I'm doing here, because I want it to be even. And there's different ways you can do this, so whatever works for you. I'll show you in a minute another way that you can do the other half. So I just kind of lay it there and make sure that I got it even, because I only have a few minutes to actually straighten it out. Looks pretty even to me. Might be a little slight over the edge there. And then what I do is I just lay it down flat and I go over it with my bone folder. I know I'm getting glue. Should not have it on my counter. Although it comes right up, but still. Okay. And then I just really rub it down really good to make sure, you know what, I think I'm going to put this under here so I don't get it on my counter. And I just rub really good. I make sure my edges are down really good. Okay, like that. Now, what I found to be easier, instead of doing it, setting it up like this, when I go to the second one, where is it at? Okay, so when I go to my second one, what I usually do is I will lay it down like that, and then I just put it right under this little nudge here, or edge. Instead, oh wait a minute, nope, wrong, sorry, told you wrong. Nope, gotta do it this way. See, already made a mistake, but it's okay, I caught it. So it goes on the outside here, and then the way I always know it's correct is these two lips are facing each other. So it's easier just for me, instead of standing it up the way I did it before, like that. Okay, if you just lay it down and then attach it, to me it's a lot easier because I can see the line really good, and it just seems to work out better. So again, you want to make sure you get your edges. And these ink bottles, I have abused them. I mean, glue bottles, to the point the tips broke off. I haven't really gotten any new ones, but it's okay because a lot of times the tips don't let out enough glue for me. And so I just broke the tip off, and now I get the amount that I feel comfortable putting out on my stuff. And this stuff does dry pretty fast, but you know, it's enough time. It doesn't give you a lot of moving room, so you got to kind of hit it right on. I know there's other stuff you can use out there. Let's make sure I got that right. Nope, goes this way. See the two lips, okay, and then I'm going to turn it over this way. I'm trying not to, I should have got something to protect my counters. Okay, so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, it's right. Alright, so then I'm just going to lay it right up against that little lip there. Make sure it's even up here. And you got a few minutes to move it. But I don't want to move it over the crease where you fold it. Okay, so I think, to me, this is easier than trying to do it with it sitting up, if that makes sense. In other words, the way I did it the first time. Now sometimes I'll do it that way the first time just so I can see that I've gotten it even, but really, I mean, I try to work smarter, not harder. I try to figure out ways to do things. See how that is? Now you got your spine right there. Okay, and then I turn it over and really give it a good rub. And like I said, in the end, guys, it isn't really going to matter because you're going to be covering a lot of this up with your whatever paper you want to use, whatever decorations you want to use. So it's not really going to matter. Okay, so there's the end on that. So I'll always make sure that these are facing each other. And then you have your spine, and this will be my first signature, okay, that goes in, sewn into here. Okay, now we need to add the pocket one. So I gotta make sure I got it right. Okay, so I want to mention this, that if you're only going to make 3 of these, you have to have 2 of these, okay? If you're going to make 4, then you need 3. If you're going to make 5, then you need 4 of these, okay? So you can add and attach your covers. Okay, so we're going to flip this around. Wait a minute. Okay, I guess it doesn't really matter. And then we're going to add this. Okay. Now you do want to make sure. So I'm going to attach it to the 3rd page, and then we're going to attach the top. So you'll have another signature spine to put your 2nd signature in. Now, I guess if you only want 1 signature, you can stop at the 1 signature, okay? And we're just going to glue that down. Now, I'm going to turn it over and make sure when I flip it, okay, we got this, that's correct, and we have that, and that's correct. So now that I got that correct, I'm going to turn it over. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to glue this down to the first spine, just making sure it's even. So if you, like I said, depending on how many envelopes you want, you have to make sure that you have the amount of spines if you're going to keep adding more signatures. But even with 2 and only 1 spine, you can do a 1 signature book. You know, the sky's the limits. Whatever you want to do. Okay, I'm going to make sure that that's straight and even. And I do usually do this this first part this way. Once I get this one attached, then I can turn it over and do it the easier way. But I want to make sure that it's on there properly and even, which it looks like it is. And again, it's not going to be a game changer if it's not. Okay, so I'm just going to run my bone folder across there, make sure I don't move it too much. Make sure you get them edges down. Okay. And like I said, that glue does dry pretty quickly, so Just want to make sure that that's down really good. And sometimes I even go over it this side. I like to push them edges all the way. Right like that. You can see my glue still. Okay. So that's what you're going to have at the end. These are your two signatures you're going to have. Just go back and make sure it's glued together good. Okay, so now this is going to be the front that way. And I want to make sure that's going to be my back. Yep. Okay, so now I'm going to flip this over. And just always double check, guys. Okay. Now to me, second half of this is easier when you're attaching. Like that. Let's raise it up one more time. Make sure this is the back of the book. This is the front. So you open it up. It's going to be attached right here, and I have my pocket where I want it. So now I'm confident in that. I know it probably looks confusing, but once you do it, you'll get it. It's really not that hard. Okay, so I'm just going to glue that down to that little lip there. Try to get the glue on a little faster. My edges. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a visual person. I like to see things. I guess I need to get that off my counter. I'm going to use this. I like to be able to see things being done. I'm more of a visual person, so just make sure that's lined up. Get that little crease there. Perfect. It's hard to see because I'm trying not to put my head in the camera. And you'll see some of the glue will seep out, and that's okay. You want to have more glue than not enough. Okay, and then I turn it over and do the same on this side. See how you can see the glue seeping out? That's what I want. Make sure it's covered and it's staying down. Now, you know, sometimes measurements can be off just by a little bit, and this is just a hair. And if I want to be really picky about it, I can go in and trim that. But again, I'm going to be putting something over the spine, so it's probably not even going to matter. Okay. So here it is. All right. This is your two signature envelope journal. Okay, there's your spines you're going to be sewing into. So when you open the front, it'll be like that. The two lips are facing each other. I call them lips. And then we have our pocket back here. So we have successfully made this book cover, book cover. And we have got our signatures, our spine done. Okay. And so you could do this with any size, guys. And then all we have left to do is put our pages in here and decorate, and we will continue on. 8 by 11. And so this is usually, well, this is saying, I didn't cut it, it's just regular copy paper. It's supposed to be 11. 8.5 by 11. Yes, 8.5 by 11. But your regular white copy paper, which I copy dyed. That's probably why I'm getting tongue twisted here. So I just threw some papers together, and I did 1, 2, 3, a music page, 4, 5, signature. Okay, so that's the first signature. And then I did the same over here. Okay, so there's going to be 28 writing spaces, which is pretty good, right? Okay, and so I haven't sewn them in yet, and we'll do that next. 9, so I divided the 9 into 4 1/4, and then I made my mark in the middle here. Now my pages are a little shorter than that, which is what you want. Well, at least that's what I like. You can bring them all the way out, down, and around, but I like them just to fit in there a little bit and have some space. So what I did is I measured the paper, and then I just measured, a couple of, not even an inch on both ends. So you can do your own measurements depending on how you want your pages to go in and how you want the book to be. But so all I did was you can take another piece of paper or something and do like a template here, and then mark it how you want it, and then I just mark the pages. So this is how I do it. It's just basically I usually just eyeball. I don't really put a lot of thought into it because as you can see, it's pretty even on both ends, so it's not that big a deal, and to be perfect at it anyway. So you can always make a template if you want to make more than one of these, and then you're not having to measure every single time, as long as your measurements are the same in each book that you're making and your pages. Does that make sense? Okay, so now I went and got just this thread, and I like to use the colors that kind of matches what's going on, even though you're probably not going to see this on the outside, because this is going to be covered with another, I'm going to be covering the spine, so you won't see this in this book anyway. You'll see it a little bit on the inside. So I marked this page here, and I'm just going to try to eyeball it, I guess, pretty much. Make sure your papers are all straight and together, and I am going to clamp them. Okay, so now I got my clamps, and just to keep the paper straight so they don't move on me, I just take some clamps, make sure they're totally straight, and then just, put it together like that so the pages are not moving when you go to sew them in. Now my cover page is just a little bit bigger than the other pages, and I like that because it's like a cover page of the book. So the pages, this one's just a slight little bit bigger. So we're just going to clamp this down, just so it doesn't move on you. That's all. Let's see how it looks. Looks pretty good to me. So I'm just going to take my needle and my thread, and I'm going to go ahead and just poke holes. I guess I could do it. You can also do it this way. Because I want to get it right in the crease there. There's different ways of doing it, guys. There's no, like, one way of doing it. And I just poke it with my needle. A lot of people use stuff like this, unless it's really thick and you're putting in, 30 pages or so. You can just use the needle. Okay, so then I open this up a little bit because I don't want it where I marked it. I want it on the edge here. So we're just going to poke. See, came right through the edge, like that. And we're going to do the same thing here, right down the edge. And that's all you do, okay? Then you're going to take this part and you're going to line it up. This is your spine. This middle part is your spine. Okay, I got all my marks. And then we're going to start from the middle. You always start from the middle. And then we're just going to poke through here, just like that. See how it went through the spine? Now I'm going to be covering this up so you won't see this. That's my second page. Let's get rid of that. My second signature, I mean. So we're just going to bring this through. And make sure you keep your tail, I usually do three pages of the yarn through here, and that gives me plenty that way. And I don't want to lose my tail on the inside. So sometimes I'll clamp it down to something to keep it from pulling it through accidentally. Okay, so now actually what I want to do is come back here and just go ahead and get my, I want to be in the middle there. Just poke it through so I'm not trying to figure out where it is. Okay, so I'm going to come through here, this hole here, and we're going to bring it through there. This is the top of the book. And then bring it on through, like that. Excuse me. Then we're going to go ahead and go through the top of the pages, right like that. And if you don't want to do the book binding this way, you can also do the elastic book binding where you don't sew in. You just put elastic around it, and you don't even have to sew. So it's really your preference on how much work you want to do or what you want to put into it. Okay, so now we're going to go to the bottom part and go through. If I can find the hole there. Sometimes okay, I just needed to flatten my paper a little. I'm going to go ahead and poke a hole right here through my spine and go on through. So now we have, and make sure again that you're not pulling it all the way through. Well, at least this part. This part I need to get through there. Okay. So now we're almost finished. And what we're going to do is go back up through the middle part, right here, and through there again. Just make sure you don't hook onto your binding there. You know, you don't want to hook into your yarn and then end up splitting it. Okay, so that's really it, guys. And you can see I had plenty. I just pull it tight, and I had plenty left over right here. So one's under this side, one's under this side. I kind of don't pull it too tight, but you want it a little tight. And then you just tie it. Okay, right like that. Now, sometimes I'll go back under and just give it an extra tie the opposite way. It just gives it a little more sturdiness to tie it several different ways. Okay, right like that. Now the thing is, sometimes, you know, people like to leave this on and put beads on it or whatever, so I don't really make the decision to cut that off until I'm in my decorating process. And you can do this knot several times. I just did it twice for the sake of the video. A lot of people do it 3-4 times, but this is what's left, and you can leave it on, cut it off, or you can add beads, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to leave it for now. So then you just take your little clamps off here. It looks like it went in straight. So there you have it. Okay, and then that is here. Now, the second signature is going to be right here. I'm going to be poking holes right here in the second signature. So here they are. They're sewed in now. 1, 2, 3. See, you can't really see the thread. 4, 5. Yeah, 5. So you have 10 pages. If you do 5, you have 10 writing spaces. 5 on this side, 5 on this side, and they're in there really good. They're sturdy. Nothing's ripping. And then the second signature is going over here. So again, you can make a template to use, or I can just really go by the guide of the other papers I just put in of the cover. So let's go over here, see if my markings are still there, because you want it to kind of be the same on both sides. So see, that's all I have to do, is basically mark the paper in the same place. Make sure it's even at the bottom, and just mark, okay? And then I'm going to take my template that I made, and I will bring it over here, which looks like I already did it, so I guess I don't have to. I marked them all already, but as you can see, you know, this would be okay, like that. So this is actually the other page, but anyway, there it is. Okay, so because I had this marked as bottom. So see, we lined it up, and this is your template you can keep handy. All right, and so you just go and you do it again for the second time. So I'm not going to bore you with the second one, but I will come back when we're finished to put the spine cover on. Okay, so now we're going to get into cutting our book cover, the spine that goes over the book. And these are the measurements for what I'm going to be using. Okay, so I got another piece of cardstock, and we are going to measure 2 5/8. That's the measurement for the spine that I want to use for the back of the book. Okay, we're going to cut that. And of course I have to make sure that this is 9, because that is the length of my book. Then we are going to score it. We are going to score this at 1. It's nice when you have a score on the same thing as your cutting board. Score line number 1 is 1 inch. Score line number 2 is 1 5/8. That right there. Okay. All right, so that's going to be, once you press it down, you know the drill. And then that's going to go over the back of the finished covered book. Cover for your, where you bind the book, right like that. Okay. Okay, so now we're just going to attach our spine cover. You just want to make sure you get it lined up good. And I'm going to use the art glitter glue. And I'm not going to glue the spine. I tried that, and yeah, it didn't work out so good. So we're just going to keep that not glued. Just spread some glue around. Okay. Just going to stick it in here like this. Not get my cords in there. Try to get even here. Set it down. Don't have much time with this art glitter glue because it dries pretty fast. So you just want to make sure you get it lined up good before you start really putting it down. Okay, then I'm just going to open this up and just rub the glue. Spread it around. Make sure I get my edges there. Top of the book and the bottom of the book. Alright, that looks like that worked pretty good. Then we're just going to, and again, this is going to be covered, so it'll be glued down even better once we decorate. We're going to do the other side. Make sure I'm in camera there. Just don't glue your middle part. I already made that mistake. Want to give it a good amount. We can set it up like this maybe. Help guide it. Press it down. Okay guys, so here it is, our finished book. It is now ready to be decorated. And you can see that the pages are in. All is well. And then the next step is now going to be decorating these beautiful papers, and I will have a part 2, so stay tuned. For future classes from the Crafters Outpost and videos, please follow us on Whatnot and Facebook. Thank you, and may God bless you.